Yo, 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 what is going on, YouTube? It's your boy, Who's Dev Sports, back at it again with my 2020-2021 ranking of all the NBA teams. So, as you can see here, I've got all 30 NBA teams, and I've got 5 different categories. I've decided to group them up in contenders, almost contenders, playoffs, headed in the right direction, which basically I like to call the play-in. If you don't know, this year the NBA they added that 7 through 10 seeds. They get the play-in tournament, same thing as last year, but they instead of 2 teams now it's 4 teams. And basically, I just have my last no hope category. Like, there's no hope for some teams in the NBA. Let's be honest. So I mean, it's about I would say 2 weeks into the NBA season right now. We can get a good feel of who we think is right there. Now, this isn't what I think is going to be at the end of the season. I'll probably do another one of these towards, middle and then towards the end. But right now, this is as it stands right now, what I think each team is. So I'll start off I don't know what order I'm going to do this in, but I'll just start off with basically some giveaways maybe. So I mean, straight off the bat, we might as well do the team I think is going to win it all first. It's the Lakers. The Lakers are contenders. If you don't think they're contenders, you've been living somewhere else. You haven't really been watching basketball this season. I mean, their record, they are 6-2 right now. Let me see, pull up just the NBA standings real quick just to fact check that. So, Western Conference, we got the Lakers 7-3. I said 6-2, so they actually won a game and lost a game. So they're 7-3, up there with the Suns. So we'll get to those other teams in a second, but they're at the top. Obviously, they're getting a lot of stuff together. They just added Dennis Schroeder. They just added Montrezl Harrell. They added Wes Matthews. They added Marc Gasol. So they still have some stuff to do. Surprisingly, LeBron's played every game this season, which is probably the most surprising thing to me. I didn't think that was going to happen. I predicted LeBron would sit out, probably not even play back-to-backs, but LeBron has surprised me. He's played every game this season. He's playing at a high level in his 18th year, and he's trying to do the Lakers. He's doing everything he can for this team. I mean, Anthony Davis putting in work. New addition Dennis Schroeder, he's been balling. Montrezl Harrell is playing really good. Wes Matthews is playing good. Kyle Kuzma, he's taking another step each year. So I mean, the Lakers are up there. Uh, they're the favorites right now, in my opinion. You can comment below who you think the favorites are. I know some of you probably got the Nets. Some of you think the Celtics. Who else? I don't know. We'll get to that when we get to that. But so next we got we'll take it team by team. The Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks, I'm gonna put them in playoffs. I don't think the Atlanta Hawks are a playing team. I definitely don't think they're seventh seed. I would say somewhere between 4 to 6 in the East. I don't think they're almost contenders. I just don't. I don't. They have a lot of talent. I mean, you have Trae Young, who's the centerpiece of your team. You have a guy like Bogdanovich, who you stole from the Bucks. That was pretty hilarious. You have a guy like Gallinari. You have John Collins. You have Clint Capella. You have Kevin Herter. You have DeAndre Hunter. You have your playoff experience of Rondo. I mean, I just named about 8 guys with solid talent, really good talent. But none of those guys really strike to me as a superstar. If you want to say Trae Young is a superstar, you can go ahead and say that. I don't think he's there yet. I don't think he can be a superstar. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if Trae Young is there yet as a superstar in this league, and I don't know if all the stuff around him together can make a championship team, or at least even almost a championship team. I just think they're playoffs. That's it. They're not special. They're not anything special, but they're not bad. So, I mean, yeah, that's basically it. Like, there's not much more I can say about the Hawks. They're a good team. They're just not there yet. The Nets. I think this one's pretty easy too. Nets, contenders. I mean, you have a guy like Karis LeVert, who was coming off the bench, who's coming off the bench for you right now. You have a guy like Karis LeVert who just put up 43 points last night. I mean, that was incredible to watch. I watched it. It was very nice. You have KD, you have Kyrie, you have Joe Harris, you have DeAndre Jordan, you have Jared Allen, who's a monster when he starts. I mean, let's just be honest. The Nets can win it all this year. By the way, this right here is my finals prediction. Nets versus Lakers. I don't see it turning. I don't see it panning out any other way. This is just the way I see it. Lakers versus Nets. I don't believe. Well, maybe Lakers. I don't know. I don't really see any other two teams stopping these two teams in their respective conferences from getting to the finals. This is gonna be a good. If this is the finals matchup right here, this is gonna be a good finals right here. I would say this is gonna be maybe a 6 or 7 game finals. We'll see where it goes. I have to see how both teams play throughout the stretch. But from right now, I have a good feeling this is gonna be the finals right here. But I mean, there is obviously we know KD's out because of COVID. Kyrie's out because of God knows what. We're not too sure yet. But I mean, I don't know. This should be the finals right here. I don't see it being anything else. The one thing I see that's probably the problem here is you never know. Maybe somebody gets injured. I mean, the Nets did lose Spencer Dinwiddie, huge loss. I don't that probably brings them a step back. We're gonna need to see somebody fill that void. Right now, it's Kyrie, KD, Levert. That's a nice big three. I think you could do something with that big three. So I think that's where they're headed right now. Charlotte Hornets. They're headed in the right direction. Playing team. I mean, the one thing I will say about the Hornets, you have to start LaMelo Ball. Don't waste good talent by keeping him on the bench. I I have Devonte Graham on my fantasy team. So ideally, I would like to see LaMelo Ball and Devonte Graham, and then push Terry Rozier to the bench. I don't know if that's the way it's going to pan out, but at this point, I can just drop Devonte Graham. So at this point, we need to see LaMelo Ball in the starting lineup. Do not waste good talent. He dropped a triple double tonight. I mean, that's all I have to say. Youngest player ever to have a triple double, league history. It shouldn't be that hard. Whoever's the coach, I forgot his name. What's his name? Hold on. Let me just check that up for you guys. Coach of the, I think it's Borrego or something like that. Yep, James Borrego. James Borrego, if you're watching my YouTube video, do us all a favor. Start LaMelo Ball. Come on. Okay, so the next team we have. Oh, and by the way, about the Hornets, I see them in that 7 to 10 spot. I don't see them as 1 to 6. They aren't there yet. I see them competing for a playing spot. I see them making a playing spot. Maybe make some noise and beat whatever team they face. We'll see what happens. But right now, with the way their team's constructed, they can build around LaMelo Ball. They have a future. They have a future. Dallas Mavericks. I'm gonna put them in the almost contenders. They're definitely not playoffs. They're almost contenders. I don't. I want to move them here, but no, I can't. The way I see it is, last year, the big factor to me is Kristaps Porzingis. I mean, he gets hurt too much. Not too much, but he gets hurt a significant amount. Obviously, his time with the Knicks, he was hurt. Last year, he got hurt again. I do believe if Kristaps doesn't get hurt last year or doesn't get ejected in game one, both things happen. If he doesn't get ejected in game one of that Clippers series, I think we have a more interesting series. But obviously they have Luka Doncic. He's something special. But I wouldn't say they need more around him. They need a little bit more around him. Uh, uh, Luka and Porzingis aren't gonna do it without. They need help. Guys like the guys like Josh Richardson, guys like Tim Hardaway Jr., Maxi Kleba, they're okay, but they need a little bit more around them. But with Luka and Kristaps, I think that can be your centerpiece for a championship team right there. Golden State Warriors. Ooh. Now this is the interesting one. They're playoffs. They're playoffs. If honestly, if Clay was healthy, they're going right here for me. I don't see them as almost contenders right now. Playoffs. Now the reason I see them as playoffs and not almost contenders, besides Curry, they probably have one of the worst shooting teams of all time. If Curry's not on that team is a walking brick. I mean, who's their second best shooter? Andrew Wiggins? Come on. No, Brad Wanamaker? Come on. Let's be real with ourselves. Besides, now I'm saying Curry and Clay together, you just need those two. I mean, that's the greatest shooting backcourt in the history of the NBA. Those are probably the two greatest shooters on the planet. So with Clay not being there, that sets them back a lot. I think Curry can only carry them as much as he can, as far as they possibly can, which I think is a playoff spot. That 1 to 6, that 1 to 6 spot. Right now, Warriors are 5-4, so they're number 7. I see them jumping above the Spurs. I obviously see a lot of this changing. Like, there's no way I see the Nuggets being down here. That will change. Rockets probably too. But right now, they're in the playoffs. They're besides Curry, they're one of the worst shooting teams in the NBA. Kelly Oubre Jr. I mean, just go look up what he's done to start the season. I shouldn't have to say it. He's shooting like 11%. It's that bad, guys. So right now they're in this category. For right now, next year we might be talking about something different. But for right now, we'll keep them in the playoffs. Indiana Pacers. They're playoffs. They're playoffs. I think it's pretty fair to say they're a playoff team. That 1 to 6 range, 1 to 7. Yeah, 1 to 6 range. Last year I believe they were who the I believe they were the 6th seed. I'm not sure, somewhere around there. But they have Malcolm Brogdon. They have Domantas Sabonis, who's Jesus, Domantas Sabonis. What a monster! That guy is ridiculous. That guy is really something else. They have Victor Oladipo. Hopefully, he can work himself back in from the injury. T.J. Warren is injured right now. It's a foot injury. They said timetable indefinitely, so we'll see when T.J. Warren comes back. But for right now, I'm gonna put the Indiana Pacers right here. That's where I put them right now. I'm gonna try to speed this video up a little bit. Milwaukee Bucks, almost contenders. I mean, it's that simple. Giannis, uh, he's overrated in my opinion. I think Giannis is overrated. He, you can see that every year they go in with these high expectations into the playoffs, and then somebody just forms a wall around Giannis, and then they're nothing. They added Drew Holiday this offseason. Do I think it's going to do that much? Do I think it's going to be that much of a big deal? No, not really. I really don't think it's going to be that much of a big deal. Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton. It's basically the Drew Holiday will help. Don't get me wrong, but I don't see them beating the Nets. I don't see them beating the Heat. I don't see it. I really don't. Timberwolves heading in the right direction, playing. I see them as one of those 7 to 10 seeds in the West. It is a lot of competition. Don't get me wrong. There's a good chance. There's a good chance they could be out. But right now, I see them heading in the right direction. They have D'Lo. They have Cat. They just drafted Anthony Edwards. See what they can do. They have a big three. They can build around them. Let's see what they can do. The Knicks. Whew. You know, if it was up to me, Knicks fan, I put them right here. But realistically, they're headed in the right direction playing. I don't know if you guys saw Knicks games recently. Julius Randle, very, very, very good player. He's the Knicks' best player right now. He deserves to be an All-Star this year. Well, as of right now, you have Elfrid Payton, you have R.J. Barrett. You can build around those guys. Emmanuel Quickly, who has been balling. Austin Rivers, who's been crazy this season. So right now, yes, I see the Knicks as headed in the right direction. OKC, they're headed in the right direction. They have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They have probably picks, so many picks we don't even know how to count. So they're definitely headed in the right direction. Philly. I'm going to save this team for the end. Detroit, it's my first no-hope team. Detroit, what the hell are you doing? I mean, they drafted Killian Hayes. He's out for 6 to 9 months. God knows what's wrong with the roster. They're just in my no-hope team. I don't know what's going on with Detroit. They probably could make it into here, but I don't see any future for the. It has to be a reason that I think the Pistons can get better. I mean, who's their best player right now? Jeremy Grant, Blake Griffin. They have old Blake Griffin on there. They have Mason Plumlee, Derrick Rose. You just have a whole bunch of old people. There's no hope. Washington. See, now, if you would have asked me at the start of the season, Washington would have been right here. But they're in the play-in, guys. They're in the play-in. I mean, do I even have to say it? Come on. Bottom of the conference? You're kidding me, right? With Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, you're at the bottom of the underperforming by a lot. Please, do yourself a favor. Get this man Bradley Beal out of here. Please get Bradley Beal out of here. He had 60 points the other night. He had, I believe, 43 the next night. What are we doing? Get him to Dallas. Get him to Denver. Get him somewhere else. Get Bradley Beal out of there. There's only so much he can do. Right now, they're a playing team. Boston, almost contenders. They have a really good big two, Jaylen Brown and Tatum. Jaylen Brown, who I think is taking another step this year. Tatum, still the person he was last year. Clutch. Kemba Walker has not played yet this season, but we'll see where he goes. We'll see where he is at the end of the season. And yeah, I really think the Boston Celtics are almost there. They're almost to this contender spot. Chicago Bulls. Chicago, they're headed in the right direction. They have Kobe White. They have Wendell Carter Jr. I don't know what they're trying to do with Zach LaVine. There was something that they wanted to trade him. We'll see where that goes. Cleveland, headed in the right direction playing. They have their backcourt, Sexland. They have Andre Drummond. We'll see if he resigns after this year. He is a free agent after this year. So, yeah, they're a playing team. Nothing too special. Denver, they're almost contenders. I don't think they're there yet. They did knock out the Clippers last year, but I don't. Nikola Jokic is the best center in the league, in my opinion. I don't really think that's much of an argument. Jamal Murray, will he repeat what he did last year in the playoffs? That's the biggest question here. If we can get a Jamal Murray that we got last year, we can see something. We can see them maybe taking a leap here. But for right now, I think they're right here. They lost Jeremy Grant. That was a big loss. He's on Detroit now. I feel like if they would have kept Jeremy Grant, it would have been different. But right now, they're in the almost contenders. Utah, they're in the playoffs. They're not almost contenders. For those of you guys that think they're almost contenders, wake up. They have Donovan Mitchell, who's the star. But I mean, Rudy Gobert just got $200 million a year, guys. He's averaging 11 and 11. I mean, averaging 11 and 11. If that's the case, I mean, Julius Randle should be making $400 million a year. So, I mean, come on. Portland, that's tough for me. I'll save that towards the end. Memphis, they're heading in the right direction, playing. They have Ja Morant. That's basically it. Jaren Jackson Jr., he's coming back. Try to speed things up a little bit, but he's coming back eventually. Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson. That's a good big two. We'll see where they go from there. Spurs, headed in the right direction, playing. It feels bad for me not to think of the Spurs anywhere else, but right now that's where I think they are. DeMar DeRozan is not getting any younger. I do like the young LaMarcus Aldridge. I do like the young pieces they have. Keldon Johnson, Lonnie Walker, DeJounte Murray can build something around there. New Orleans, ooh. New Orleans. Do I think they're like a 2 to 7 seed, 2 to 6 seed? No, I don't. Not with the loaded West. Where are they right now? They're 11. Yeah, they're right where I think they're gonna stay somewhere between the 7 to 10 spot. They have Zion. They have Brandon Ingram. Let's see what they can do around those two teams, around those two guys right there. They have Lonzo. Let's see what they can do. Toronto. I actually believe Toronto is really low in the standings. Yeah, they're 13th. But I do see Toronto picking it up. I feel like that team's really talented. Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam, Chris Boucher, Norman Powell, Fred VanVleet. I do see them picking it up, making that playoffs. Nothing too special, not almost contenders. Not without. They lost Kawhi. Clippers, I'll save that. Magic, head in the right direction, playoffs. Obviously, they lost Markelle. See what Cole Anthony can do to step up. You have Vucevic. You have Aaron Gordon. See what you can do. Houston. Phoenix, playoffs. That's it. I don't see them as almost contenders. I don't see them as contenders. I just see them as playoffs. If you're gonna tell me the addition of Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton is almost contenders, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say that. They're almost. No hope. Sacramento Kings. I mean, what are you doing, Sacramento? Let's be honest. I don't know. Are you trading Marvin Bagley or are you not? Like, make up your mind. What's going on, Sacramento? I feel like we've been talking about Sacramento for like 5 years now, the same exact way we talk about them now. It's like they don't draft well. They got Halliburton. He's okay. I mean, nothing special. They have Marvin Bagley. They have De'Aaron Fox. They have Buddy Hield. It's just there's no hope for them right now. I need to see more moves being made. Miami, they're playoffs. I don't. Wait. Do I see Miami as almost contenders? That's a tough one. No, I'm gonna put them in almost contenders. I see Miami. I think Miami's better than all these teams listed here. I see Miami as almost contenders. I mean, they were in the finals last year. Let's not take that away from them. I don't think they're gonna be in the finals this year, but I think Jimmy Butler, Bam, Goran Dragic, Kelly Olynyk, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson. They're almost contenders. Houston, I just think is playoffs. I mean, what reason do I have to believe that Houston are almost contenders? They're the same team every year. They make it into the second round, first round, and they lose. Even the conference finals and lose. I mean, as good as James Harden doesn't even want to be there. That's as straightforward as it is. And right now, I think the way their team's constructed, what's Houston? They're 13th. So they're only 3 and 4 though, but they're obviously gonna go up. But they're just playoffs to me. Clippers, almost contenders. Obviously, we know who's the one man that this team is riding on right now. It's not Kawhi. It's Paul George. I mean, Pandemic P, way off P. Don't call yourself playoff P. Please don't. Whoever gave him that nickname, please take it back immediately. I don't understand how you call somebody playoff P, and I've never I've never seen playoff P show up. He just doesn't show up. And, I need to see more from Paul George to call them contenders. Sorry. I know my friend Justin's watching this right now. Huge Clippers fan. Sorry, Justin. It's not going to happen. Not unless Paul George steps up. I like the addition of Serge Ibaka. It's good, but it's not there. Whew, Portland. Portland playoffs. Not almost contenders. We've seen the Dame and CJ thing back year after year after year. This is just what it is. We've seen it year after year after year, and uh, I don't know. I mean, Yusuf Nurkic is supposed to be their third best player. He's not playing at a high level right now. Enes Kanter off the bench is playing better than him. So right now, I just put them at playoffs. And finally, Philadelphia. Where do I see Philly? Where's Philly right? Well, Philly. I know Philly's at the top. A lot of you might not like this, but I see Philly as almost contenders, guys. I do. I know I'm probably getting so much hate. You guys are screaming at me through your screens right now, but I see Philly as almost contenders. Sorry. I do think Joel Embiid, he's playing really well right now. He obviously didn't have a good game last game, but he is playing really well. Ben Simmons, just doing Ben Simmons things. Every time I talk about Ben Simmons, it makes me laugh because I have my friend Rainier loves to hate on Ben Simmons. They picked up Seth Curry. That's a huge addition. He's been balling. Obviously, he's COVID positive right now. Hopefully, he gets better. The team gets better. They have Tyrese Maxey. He's gonna be something special. So yeah, I would put the Sixers in almost contenders. This right here is where I think we stand right now. You have the two contenders. You have your almost contenders. You have your playoffs. You have your headed in the right direction, and you just have your no hope. I mean, leave your comments. You can leave your comments in the description. Tell me where you think some of these teams belong. But right now, I would say this is pretty accurate. Some of them you can argue. Maybe putting Portland here. I don't know. Maybe putting Houston here. I don't see it. Maybe even maybe bringing Philly down. You can do that as well. Bringing the Clippers up. But I don't think you can bring the Clippers up after what I saw last year. Maybe bring. I don't. Mavericks up. I don't see it, guys. I don't. So yeah, right now this is what I see. This is my rankings right now for the 2020-2021 NBA season. I will do another one in the middle of the year and one to close out the year with my playoff predictions and my bracket. But right now, this is the way I see it. So you guys can take a look at it. Leave your comments. Leave a like. Subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.